Seekers of the Storm was Risk Rain's newest expansion, and the launch was an absolute shit show. There's bugs, and there's bugs, and there's bugs, and there's a lot more I could talk about to shit on the game, but I don't have time to fit that into the script. So instead, I'm going to talk about the Secret Survivor of the DLC. 3, 2, 1 for spoilers. The False Sun. The False Sun, in my opinion, is the best survivor added in the DLC. Oh well, Donut. What about Seeker and the Chef, man? They're pretty good. And, Seeker can heal, and like they are good. But if I want to play an actual fun chef, I'd either play Risk of Rain Returns or just the Chef mod. And while Seeker is just super underpowered in my opinion, her healing isn't the best since Meditate does fuck all, and her Fist takes 10 years to recharge. So I'd rather just play the False Sun. So I'm gonna explain how to do it. So before I start, I just want to say I'm not gonna say the False Sun every time. So I'm just gonna say the Sun from now on. So hopefully you guys don't get confused. Anyways, continuing on to his abilities. His abilities are actually pretty cool. They actually mimic a lot of his boss fight abilities you'll see when you fight him. And, they're chose the best ones. So, anyways, the Sun's passive is called Lunar Tampering, which just gives the player buffs depending on if they use the M2 ability. Every M2 gives, like, 5% movement speed per spike and 2.5% health regen every time you use it, while every non-used gives 5% attack speed and 2.5 armor. Now this passive is like really just a passive, so don't go out of your way to use your M2 to get more movement speed or attack speed during combat. Choose your spikes whenever you want, since the buffs are very minuscule and don't add that much of effect. Although, when you are moving around the map, I do like to throw all my spikes out just to get some extra movement speed, since it's like, it's extra move speed, might as well. But I only do it when moving around the map. I don't do it when I'm in a fight or anything. The Sun's primary is Club of Third Forsaken, which is just a normal swing attack that does 300% damage, which is just short of proc and bans, which kind of sucks, but I understand why they do it. But the second part of the ability, which is the Slam, is 10 times better than the normal. So if you hold the primary and secondary button down, it charges a Slam that does sorry, not 15,000, 150, what am I saying? 1,500% damage in a small AoE zone, which is 10 times better than normal swinging. And that also means it can proc bans, which is very good in certain scenarios. And clear out a bunch of ads, and yeah, I mean, it's just really good all around. I definitely use it more than the actual swinging attack to see how much damage it does, but I'll explain on what abilities I like to use more on later. So the M2 is the spikes. The spikes, there's not really that much to talk about, really. Start out with 4 of them, which is like, I mean, it's a good number. And they just deal 150% damage, which is okay, I guess. You can get more spikes through growth, which is thing I'll explain later. But the best part is that it actually debuffs the enemy, making them very slow, and makes them take 10% more damage per stack, which is absolutely crazy with his special ability, which I'll explain soon. Sorry, not speaking of, before the special ability, there's actually his dash, which is just it's just a dash. It's really good. It doesn't take you super far. Deals 200% damage in a little explosion area. So, it's good to get out of, tough situations. So, it's pretty useful. You can go up with it. You have 8D movement. It's really good. Definitely a good addition to his kit. But now, we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend. The best part of his kit is Laser of the Father. The laser is a map-long laser that deals 175% damage, fully charged per tick, for a base of 4 seconds, which can be increased by growth. This ability is amazing. It can clear out enemies like crazy, it can deal with air mobs, it can melt bosses, it can proc chain, it can do everything. On top of that, it fully refills all of your lunar spikes. But the best part about it is its pairing with the growth ability that I mentioned earlier. Growth is like another passive for only lunar spikes and the laser. If you get items that increase your health, like Bison Steak, lunar spikes will get another charge, and Laser of the Father will extend its time by a whole second. I'm pretty sure. It seems like a second, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion. The fact that it's a whole second, a whole other second of a laser that deals 175% damage per tick. That's map wide. just for getting a bison steak out of everything. Now, the alternate special for the Sun is a laser burst, which is just a railgun shot that refuels only 30% of the spikes that can get extra charges from growth. Now, I don't think this is better just because of how versatile the other laser is, but I haven't tested a lot, so who knows? I might be dumb and it might be broken. So now that we talked about the abilities, let's talk about very specific items that pair well with his abilities. Now, the obvious items like crit glasses, bleed, movement, bands are all obviously amazing on him, just because they're amazing on every survivor. But in this section, I'm talking about very underrated ones, like the Luminous Shot, which buffs the primary ability if you use your M2. And it may not seem like it's good on paper, but with the slam, it can do some crazy damage. Another good pick is actually the Plasma Shrimp. Plimp is the Void Item version of HED, ATG, which sends out mini missiles every time you hit an enemy while you have a shield. And this pairs amazingly with the laser since it procs off of every tick of damage from the laser. A good red item to pair with the laser is Synchronous Scorpion to remove armor from enemies, making them melt even faster from the laser. Backup Mag doesn't give the effects of growth, but it still gives the passive effects, so it's still worth to pick up. Leeching Seed is actually surprisingly good with the laser. Lipos Daisy, I'm pretty sure gives growth stacks, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. Now, finally, the items that I know 100% give you growth stacks are Bison Steak, Infusion, Titanic Knurl, and Stoneflux Pauldron. All give growth stacks, so it's very good if you pick these up. That means also health chests are like your best friend. And finally, for equipments, Gorag's Opus speeds up the charge time with the laser, and it's just a nice buff all around to get spikes out to debuff, laser bosses down quickly. And finally, Crowdfunder is just good on every survivor, like every melee survivor specifically, but even better on the False Sun if you can't get any flying ads while your laser's on cooldown. But, you know, now that we're done with the items, I'm going to move on to the gameplay loop. What you really want to do with the False Sun is just use your laser on further enemies and flying enemies like wisps and wandering vagrants and stuff. Or not, you know, the actually like the mini version of wandering vagrants. I don't know why I said those, but and then also use your spikes to debuff bigger targets like Mithrix or even like the teleporter boss, and use your laser to melt them down. And really use the slam as much as you can. You don't really want to be using the normal M1. Doesn't do that much damage, and the slam just way more worth it, especially if you have bands or something. So definitely use the slam more. Some good tips while playing the False Sun is that the spikes slow down Mithrix a lot. So if you're ever in trouble on Mithrix, like phase 3 or something, when he's charging at you from the middle, if you throw the spikes at him, he'll get slowed down, also take a little bit more damage. So you know it helps out a little bit. Slam also has a little bit of a hop. I'll show it on screen if I can find clips of it. Where after you activate it, you'll jump up in the air a little bit, and you can land on enemies to help proc bands as well, and also just save yourself from fall damage. I'm pretty sure if you like activate it midway and you fall down, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it can negate fall damage, but don't quote me on that. And finally, just another tip is to make sure to fully charge the laser every single time. The uncharged version is just not worth it at all. It only does 30% damage, which is actually dog shit. So just take the extra time and fully charge it to make sure that you can get the full damage off, because it's a really freaking good ability if you can get all the damage off, and it's just way worth it to wait like the extra. It's only 1.5 seconds really to fully charge the laser, so let's make sure to fully get that off. And that's really it. That's it for the video. If you want me to make more Risky Rain vids, comment, like, subscribe, I don't know. And if you're here wondering to buy the DLC or not, do not. It's not worth it right now. The bugs are terrible. It's a waste of money. And, I mean, you could be like me. Really, I don't really care about the bugs. I love Risky Rain. Bugs are pretty bad, like the Warped Echo bug where Mithrix is invincible. That actually ruined my Monsoon run for the first time. Actually, the background gameplay you're seeing right now is that Monsoon run. He got bugged, and I just could not damage him at all, which is fun, you know. That was the first time I actually reached Mithrix on Monsoon ever since playing him, because I did not understand, like, I don't know. I just did not understand how to play him, but now I do, so now I'm explaining it to you. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.